Hi, I'm Judy Kessinger. I'm the creator of the Fit Nice system. I designed this system to make your sewing easy, and I want to show you how to make this quick, easy jacket. Now, this jacket is called the knit jacket, warm-up jacket that's cool, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's going to keep you warm, but it's not too warm. To make this jacket, make sure you print off the PDF because all the sewing directions are there, but also all the drawing directions so you can follow along with me. You're also going to need French fuse. Now, I sell French fuse on my website in 3 different colors. So whatever color you choose to use, make sure you watch the directions on how to put that on your fabric. So we need French fuse, and then of course you need patternies to make yourself a new pattern. Now, when you choose a fabric for this, remember it says knit, so this is a knit warm-up jacket. When you choose fabric for it, whatever kind of fabric you want to choose is totally up to you. Again, I love Sophia, but you're going to see I just chose a printed knit that had just a little bit of body to it. The reason you use the French fuse is you're going to put a zipper right down the center, but you're also going to put in welt pockets, because if you have a jacket, you have to have a pocket. Please go back to the videos and scroll through there and watch the ones on welt pockets, because it's an easy project to do. Now, let's draw the pattern. I have my master pattern. That's what I'm using for this jacket. And what I'm going to do is to add 1.5 inches to the center front. Now, the beauty of using patternies is that it has a nice, clean edge to it. So all I really have to do is to measure out 1.5 inches and move your pattern over like this. And you have a nice, clean edge, okay? I'll put my weight on there. And then I really would suggest that you draw a line, because that's your center front. Remember, you need to know where your center front is. Also, you've probably noticed on my patterns that I don't have a grain and crease line. Guess what? The grain line is your center front. So if you accidentally cut that off or something, just draw a line that's parallel to it, and that'll keep you on grain on your knit. When you do this, you need to determine yourself, when you make a new pattern, are you going to wear this over a tank top, or are you going to wear this over a sweater? If you're going to wear this over a sweater, you need to add to the side seams. 1/2 inch is plenty. You can add as much as you want, but 1/2 inch is plenty. So all I'm going to do is to trace around here like this, and I'm going to add just 1/2 inch to mine. So I'm going to trace around the pattern like this, and the only place you need to add the 1/2 inch is at the side seam, front and back, and then you need to add to the side of the sleeve. And it tells you all of that on that PDF. So draw a line for the bottom. Now, that's your jacket front. That's all it takes to make your jacket front. Cut that out, and then you need to make a back, because your back also has that 1/2 inch, and you need to make a new sleeve because your sleeve has that 1/2 inch. Once you've cut this out of fabric, then you're going to fuse the French fuse to the wrong side of the 2 fronts, the wrong side of the back, and the wrong side of the sleeves. The reason that you want to do that is that that's going to give the garment body, and it's going to make it look like a more tailored jacket. It will also allow you to do some of the tricks that I did, because I added bias tape to the jacket that I'm showing you. So let me turn this back over so that you can see a picture of that jacket again. If you look on there, there's black bias tape that has been added to the collar and around the sleeves and to the shoulder seam. So whenever you're going to do any kind of detail work to a garment, make sure you put French fuse on it, because that's going to support that garment. Now, you'll also see the collar pattern, and this is what the collar pattern looks like, and it is also on that PDF. I want to tell you a little hint about collars, and this goes all the way through any jacket that I ever make. When you buy a pattern, a manufactured pattern like a Butterick McCall's Vulgar Simplicity, you cut out your fronts, you cut out your back, you cut out your sleeves, and you cut out your collar. And then you sew the whole thing together, and then you pray that the collar goes in the neck edge. Well, pray for something else, don't pray over a collar. Because the way I do this is I sew the garment together, and then I measure the neck edge, and I make the collar fit the neck edge. So that way there's no guesswork in this. There's no frustration in this. It's much easier to make the collar fit the neck edge than stress over the fact that you've already cut it out. So simple, easy to do. Now you've cut out your pattern, and you've cut out 2 fronts, you've cut out a back, 2 sleeves, and 2 facings. Because the facing, this is because you're putting a zipper in there, you need a facing. Please, please make sure you print off this PDF so that you can follow along with all of the sewing directions. I'm just going to give you a little bit of hints about working with this collar, but the printed directions really are great step by step. First of all, I want to tell you that this is not a neckline like your pattern. You literally cut the neckline down in a V, and the reason you did that is because this has a wide collar. Remember, this was the collar that had this part to it. So this is the front of the jacket. If you put this collar way up here, like into a jewel neckline, where your neckline is, you'd have something that was sitting up here on your chin, and it wouldn't be very attractive. So we need to cut the fronts in a V. It tells you on the directions how far down to cut it. Again, that's totally up to you. Use your template that's on your pattern to determine how to cut that V. So once we've done that, we're going to interface our facings, and we've done the facings with the French fuse. We put that French fuse on there. And then I did something just a little bit different because I like an edge to my facing, and so I used bias tape, and I know you all know what I did with it. I glued it on with the steamer seam so it stayed in place. We've already put the welt pockets in, and according to the directions, and the directions were on the PDF on how to put the welt pocket in, you can see I used a little strip of that bias tape on there as well. I also did the bias tape around the armhole. Now, I did that after the sleeve was set in, and as a little hint, I glued that on. I glued that on with the steamer seam. If you pinned this bias tape all the way around and then tried to stitch it on, it would pull bias lines on you and it would be a mess. So glue it on first, then it won't go anywhere. I also put a little strip at the shoulder seam. So these are just little details that dress up your jacket a little bit more. And then I'm going to put it on the collar too, but let me show you how to do this collar first. So what I've done is I've cut out 2 collars. One collar I stitched to the jacket, and the other side of the collar I stitched to the facing. So this is what it looks like. Now I put that bias trim on there. When I turn this to the inside, I think you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, because this is what shows when it folds back. After you stitch that on, then what you're going to do is to press that seam allowance open. When you have to press a seam allowance closed and get a nice crease, if you press it open first, then when you press it closed, it closes a lot better and a lot crisper. Then you're going to fold all along the facing edge and all along the front of the jacket edge, fold in a 1/2 inch and press it. Now, before we put a zipper in, let's try this garment on, because this may have been too much. Remember, we added 1.5 inches to the center front, and all we're doing is folding back a 1/2 inch. If it's too much, you can cut it off right now. Cut off as much as, I don't know, 3/4 inch if you want to. You do need some movement. You don't want this really tight across your chest. So keep that in mind. You do need some movement. So I'm going to press this in a 1/2 inch. And then what I'm going to do is to fold it over like this. And this is my hem. Let me put it this way for you so you can see a little bit better. This is my hem. I'm going to take my facing, and I'm going to not fold my facing up. I'm just going to stick it down inside my hem like this, and that way I have no bulk in my hem. So in the hem area, let me turn this over so you can see this a little bit better. In the hem area, this is simply going to, it's a cut edge. It's going to go down inside there, and when it folds up, the edge of that facing disappears, but I've got a nice flat seam right there. So now I have a hole in my jacket that looks just like this. This is the facing, this is the jacket. Now, if you remember my cute little trick about zippers, because this is a great little trick about zippers, go back and watch the videos on how to put a zipper in. I'm going to use this sticky steamer seam, and I'm going to put it on both sides of the zipper tape. All right? Pull the paper off, stick the zipper inside this hole, and all you have to do is to finger press like this. It will stay in place. You need no pins whatsoever, and you're ready to stitch this in. Now, I've already done one side, so I'm going to put the one side up here on the dress form so that you can see it finished. And I think you'll see what I'm talking about. Isn't that pretty? So can you see when that collar folds back, you get that really pretty look of the bias trim, and that because that's a really high collar at one end, it stands up in the back, but it folds over beautifully in the front. So that's your warm-up jacket. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've seen how simple and easy this system is to work with. All of the products you've seen in the video are available on my website or a link on my website. Please make sure while you're there to check out the classes to see where I am. Join me on Facebook under Fit Nice, and be sure to join the Fit Club. Thank you.